What do you guys think? I think there's too much shadow. That's better.
No.
Is that better?
Aren't we looking pretty? Aren't we?
What do you think, Kiara? Is that better? Do you mind the focus on that?
I think it's better she comes.
I think the girls should be in the middle. I think you should be on the outside and the two girls. Move over. Gosh. There you go. There you go. That's better. We did it with our phones. Is there a four phones? Brilliant.
Yeah, you don't need another one.
Okay. So, shall we? It's on already? It's live.
Oh no.
Is it live?
It is live.
It is.
Well, if we are live.
Oh, dear. Yeah, that's my one. Give me here. Let me put it here.
You two are so off key.
Okay. So, take that. Okay. Hi. Good evening, wonderful people. This is Mathebula. I'm here with this beautiful, gorgeous African queens. And here on the left, we have Sister Carol Rose, the mother of this beautiful angel here next to her. And we have Sister Nia, and we have Sister Kiara. And we are continuing with our story behind It Takes a Woman. And today the subject, as we said, it's all about us expressing our feelings as the old school generation and our new future powers of tomorrow, the women who have very, very strong voices, very, very powerful. I wish I was where they are in their age today, and you find that I wonder what makes these women of today so powerful. So you guys are gonna find out a lot. So this is Carol Mathebula. So Sister Rose, take it on.
Hi, good evening again. I'm Carol Rose. We wanted to, last week you listened to our conversation around It Takes a Woman. It was very spontaneous. We were actually getting together to discuss the event that we're having in February called It Takes a Woman. And we were just going through notes and what the event would look and feel like. And then we just said, look, let's broadcast this. And now we're doing the second broadcast, and we've brought in some young people because we feel that it's really important to hear from this generation. And so we've got the beautiful Kiara and beautiful Nia here, two very, very powerful young women. We think it's very important to hear from young women of today. They're underrepresented, and they have strong voices and strong opinions. So we wanted to dedicate this topic or this session to our young voices. In fact, Kiara will be speaking at the event, It Takes a Woman, happening on February the 24th, 2019. We'll give you more information about that. And you're going to hear, when Kiara does speak, a very powerful story from this amazing young woman. But today we're just going to ask some questions, aren't we, about young women in today's society, young Black women, for want of a better term, and how you view your position as young Black women with ambitions, with challenges, with all the challenges that are against you because of your age and in society and as young Black women. So I'm going to pass that over to Nia. And she's playing shy, but she's got a lot to say.
Powerful,
young girl.
Powerful,
young girl.
young sister. Very powerful.
And just, in fact, you were speaking to them earlier, weren't you, Carol? You were asking questions earlier before we had dinner about, we're in Carol's home again, in a sort of a family environment. But you were asking them questions. Maybe I should ask you to ask a question, or the questions you were asking earlier, because I was listening in while I was cooking, and I thought, how interesting to have this kind of sisterly talk.
Definitely. Yeah. I find them so well informed and so matured, and so, their demeanor, I think Black women of today, they are very impressive for me as a woman who came 1971, so I think double your age probably. And so what I liked about you, Nia, it's what I saw when you were 15 years old. And of course, we're going to share this with people after we talk about it so that they can know exactly where I'm coming from. Where I say, I bow, after I saw what you have said at the age of 15, I was shocked how much you were so observant with the world. So today, as I ask, what is your observation today from when you were 15? When you were 15, you were dealing with the effect of being a Black woman. Yeah, I just want you to share with the world, as beautiful as you are today, what are your challenges as a Black queen?
She's now 18.
Now 18,
Yeah.
now 18, 3 years
3 years
after you've done
later.
that powerful speech
So do you want to say
that
what the
made you
speech
very
was?
famous in your country, actually.
In your school. It was a Jack Petchy Speak Out Challenge.
Yeah.
And Nia won the West Essex regional finals with a speech called "Why Do You Judge Me?" She scored the perfect 10 across the from the scoring panel, and became quite famous for her speech. She'll never own it, but we share the speech with you because it's.
So where are you today? Where are you today? Just
The challenges that I face as a woman.
Yes, definitely. Challenges or whatever that you feel you're in, because I think it's not only about challenges, it's just about you being beauty as you are. What are you dealing with at age 18?
I think the main the main thing is school, A levels, education. That's a really big stress, I think, for a lot of people my age. From the ages 16 to 18, like that A level stress and getting into uni and things like that, that's really hard. That takes a toll on a lot of people because you don't know what you want to do and you have to choose like very quickly, and then they make it seem as though if you don't choose one route or if you don't choose quickly enough, then you're going to fail, basically. So it's a lot of pressure.
Big pressure.
For young people.
And how do you deal with that?
How do I deal with the stress?
Because I think you have found your kind of technique on staying in your core so that you can be able to deal with your treasure, because education is your treasure. Even though they push you so much, you have to find a way on how to stay on point. How do you deal with that pressure in terms of you staying on point of what you really want to accomplish?
You have to keep a level head, because if you doubt yourself, everyone gets self-doubt, but if you keep doubting yourself, it will put you off, like you'll come off your path. So you need to always have your goals and try and maintain that. You have to take every day as it comes. Like I find out when I stress about things in advance, it doesn't help. You have to deal with the situation that's happening now. Take each day slowly, because if I'm worrying about something that I have to do next week, then it's going to stop me from doing what I need to do now.
Definitely. And apart from school, just you being a woman and getting into really paving your world, because of you're about to swim into this big wide world, I think soon. I don't know if it's already in your mind where you're thinking, now it's that time where I'm going to go search for my apartment. And have you thought of that?
Yeah.
And
I want to get a car.
Yeah. You want to get a car?
House. Yeah. I want my own place to reside, I guess.
Place to reside.
Yeah.
And how soon that is in your mind?
Next year.
Oh my God, that's just...
Is that next year, 2019 or 2020?
2020?
19.
That's like few days from
She's
here.
telling me that I'm a mom.
Yeah.
I guess that tells me.
Yeah. Now, that's a big step. You know that, isn't it? You know that moving from protection, because of sometimes we feel as if staying with our parents, sometimes it can be annoying, but above all, it's a very protective environment where everything is put on us. Now, when we decide to move out and swim,
you have to do everything yourself.
You gotta do everything yourself. Now, are you foreseeing things ahead of you? That are you prepared, and what are the preparations?
It's not going to be easy, but everyone at one stage is going to have to move out and do their own thing. So it's a learning process.
Yeah.
If you're financially stable, you have that support, then there's it's just getting used to doing things for yourself. And if you already do things for yourself, then I doubt it's going to be a shock like that. I think it's harder for people who are so reliable on their parents.
Yeah.
Then that's when the situation
and whereby you have already worked around your financial cave. Give me 5, 6, give me 5. Wow, that's
I think
powerful.
at a young age as well, I think it's your foundation, and I don't want to take all the credit for it, but I might have to. Nia was given quite a lot of responsibility around finances. She used to be the one that would do the banking. I would get her to do the banking, take money out the cash point. I'd give her the card and sit in the car and watch a little girl go into the cash
How
point.
old was she when you did that?
From the age of 6.
No, Carol.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, and I used to get
That's why
criticised for
you're
it.
such
I used to get
independent
criticised for
woman.
it, but she understood the weight of money, the energy of money. She was always good at saving it. She understood I remember one day I parked the car and I had to run into Holland and Barrett, and a traffic warden came up, and we didn't put a ticket on the car, but Nia was in the car, and she said, "Hold on a minute, my mum's just popped out to the shop," and she went in her purse, took her money out, and put a ticket on the car. The traffic warden was amazed. She said, "This little girl knew what to do."
She knew exactly.
Yeah, she said, "Don't no," and then she was able to pay for the ticket, however, like 90p. I don't know what it was, but or maybe £1.50, whatever. But she had the ability to do so and understand what needed to be done.
So, meaning that it actually takes a woman to raise a woman. It takes a woman to raise a boy, because I think for me, you have raised her as a woman from a very, very early age. You actually erase the fear of money, because of lots of Black people. We are very, very, very intimidated around money, isn't it? And you were actually given the tool from age of 6 to take money as a normal thing.
Yeah.
We went on holiday last year, and she booked the fare. She sorted, even when we went away, she was in control of the money. She had the money.
Yeah.
She spent when we needed to spend. She knew what things were going to cost. She did. I left that responsibility up to her.
Yeah.
And I think that's. I wish my mum had done that to me.
Yeah.
But our parents, it's
Didn't
a
know.
season for everything.
Definitely.
Yeah, and I think that's what's given her the confidence to say, you know what, I actually can manage my finances, and if I do run out, there's always bank with mum and dad. But I think she realizes that she can handle money, and she knows the importance of it.
Definitely. And Sister Kiara, here we are. And yes, as you can hear, we're talking about all the essential things that are happening around womanhood. And for you, where you are at this present, as we were speaking earlier, and I find you so as well, so calm. You speak about laws of attraction. You said something that fascinated me earlier. It takes a woman to start a war. Now, I'm not going to go into that. Of course, we're going to go into it later.
Yeah.
But where are you in terms of
How old are you, Kiara? Just say how.
So I'm 25. The place I'm at right now is just, I would say, rediscovering myself and finding my power again. So transitioning back out of self-hate into self-love, which is very key for a lot of women.
So when did you discover the fact of you identifying love and self-hatred? When did you get to that point where you realized that actually was being controlled by more hate than loving myself? What made you to identify that so clear?
I'd say reflecting back on a lot of scenarios that I've been through in my life. As well, like where I've always found that I get put in a place where I face contradiction and confrontation. A lot of the times I haven't necessarily done anything, but I'm always put in a place where I have to make the decision on whether or not I'm gonna overlook things or be as petty as whoever else. So yeah, I think that's where I found it.
Yeah.
And everything that I went through with the father of my children as well, and my dad.
Yeah. And this subject is about it takes a woman. What does it mean for you when you hear the way it takes a woman? How does that resonate with you, deeply within you? What does it mean when we say it takes a woman?
Can we quickly just define the context of our topic? It takes a woman. It came up from us actually identifying that, because to just give Kiara some background, that in our community, in the Black community, there are issues. There are issues across the board with our very foundation. And we recognize that as women being the caregivers of our society, but perhaps some of the responsibilities lies with us. And so we felt that these topics and the event that we have coming up was an offering to the community as women, for women, for us to break some of those stigmas, some of the self-hate that we have amongst ourselves. And we recognize that women in general, and ourselves as Black women, because we're dealing with our community, we are the cornerstone of society and of the family. So that's the context. It takes a woman. So how do you see yourself in that? How do you see, how do you see that as a young woman? Does that actually resonate with you as a young woman?
Yeah, definitely. It definitely resonates with me. It's very overwhelming though, especially if you don't know what's going on, and you're not aware of the law of attraction and the power of your mind, and there's so many little things that play a very big part in the whole of that. But yeah, I'll definitely say that's my whole thought.
I think for me, as I say, for me, what it means to say it takes a woman. If I look at myself as a woman today, and I love being a woman, and I love being in my skin, I love the fact that I could be able to move from one country to another, just relying on my womanhood. Just to know that, Carol, of course there are challenges in the world. Of course there's you in the world. But how do you take responsibility? For me, being a woman, it takes a woman. It's about your responsibility. You are a vessel to the world. You serve. You didn't come here for you. You came here to be among others. And what does it mean to be among others? So for me, it takes a woman. Firstly, it has to take you, understanding that I'm a woman, I'm a queen, I love myself. No matter what things has been presented to me, these presentations are not my core foundation. That's where, for me, when I say it takes a woman, it's that. So as I was saying earlier, I have a story. My story is that I grew up and I didn't know my mom. So today I don't know her. And what I did, the fact of not knowing her, I had to make a very, very big twist where I sat somewhere and I thought, oh dear, if I could only hear her voice, I wonder how will she sound like. I was really angry when I was saying that. I thought, I wish I could see her eyes, and just to see her eyes, and maybe I could see myself through the mirror of her eyes, and I could see myself as a little girl running through those eyes. And really wondering like that, it made me realize that the more we wonder and wonder, we actually get lost. And there was a moment where I thought, okay, do not wonder. She left you. What was the reason? Because even in the animal kingdom, the woman will kill for her kids. That's the nature of womanhood. Now, when a woman decides to leave a child there and to go, that woman is already broken. And that's what I thought. For me to bring peace to myself, to take now the part of my mother, to heal that part of my mother, I had to suddenly make, kind of create a preview of her, seeing her really struggling, sitting there, dropping me and crying as she goes, and wonder what had happened to her. So I brought lots of forgiveness. And by forgiving, I had to now check to me, yes, education was not given to the full of my ability as I wish. I wanted to be a doctor. And I realized at some point that, Dr. Carol, over your dead body, you would never be a doctor. But I thought to myself, if I'm not a doctor, who am I going to be? Definitely for the fact, I was not going to be somebody that they say, you're that, you're not educated, you're that, you're that, you're that, you're that, you're that. So I had to create my phenomenal woman. And I said to myself, yes, they didn't give you education as you wanted. Yes, you came from obstacles, but I've got a voice. And I was going to go to the world no matter what. And I was going to be an influential woman.
Mm.
And that's what I did. So for me, that's what it takes a woman. It takes a woman firstly to look at your surrounding, and after you look at your surrounding, then you make peace with it. Not peace just for the sake of making peace, but for the sake of making peace to find your inner joy. So that's what, for me, it takes a woman means. So after I have said that, what do you think? What do you think of what I have just mentioned in terms of really healing Africanism and healing the Black nation? What do you think about this forgiveness that I have just mentioned?
I think as a people, we have to learn the art of forgiveness. Like, don't hold things. We like to hold a lot of baggage and say things is because of this, it's because of that. We need to let go of pains and realize that those same pains is also going to hold you back, because subconsciously you're always going to be telling yourself you can't do this, you can't do that because of something else. So to let go and to just be free, like minded and free spirited, that will help you.
And for you, have you experienced things in your life as you are 18 years today that had made you think that, you know what, this world, it's not fair?
Yeah.
And how often did you find yourself through that, especially around your mom, as you are with your mom? You see, as I was talking around my mom. When was a moment where you felt like, you know, it's not fair, but then you realize that, you know what, actually life is like that. It presents unfairness so that we can actually find our inner fairness. When did you discover that?
I feel that a lot, like every single day. Every day I'm like, this isn't fair.
Yeah.
I think when I see homeless people on the street, in an economy and in a place like England or London that wants to claim that they're very economically like well up there, very civilized, this, what, that, and the other.
Yeah.
The fact that there's a serious like poverty issue is like, I'm like, this isn't fair. Like, how can this be? It's not possible. And one time I saw a homeless person at Liverpool Street Station, and then the security came and moved them from where they were sitting because it was like offensive to other people, and I was like, that's not fair. That's the only shelter they have right now. So yeah, everything in the world is fair. Nothing's fair.
What keeps you so angelic, especially with, and both of you've got this
Very
angelicness. We feel very honored to have you between us because of you showering us with this massive light that I feel calm. You know, they calm me. There's this sense of, it's like I gotta behave because of I'm around such powerful spirits. This is how I feel. Now, my question is, what makes you so calm and so resilient, especially with the things that, because of, as we speak about what you are speaking about, the seeing people on the street and all that, you're also experiencing your own things that are challenging you on the daily. Are you experiencing massive challenges at your age as a Black girl? What are those challenges, if you can share with us a few of them, just for us, for people to know what it takes to be a woman, and also what it takes to be a Black woman, so that we can identify it takes a woman?
I think for me, the main one I think is confidence, self-confidence, like looking. I don't always want to bring things back to social media, but
media is important.
Social media plays a big part, and even when you think it doesn't, it really does, because I will find myself comparing myself or the way I am to these people that I don't even know, and it's like that's like a thing that we have to slowly get over ourselves. But when images are always being pushed at you, and when certain lifestyles are always being pushed at you, you will start to look at yourself and feel somewhat like inferior to everyone else.
You're not good enough.
Yeah.
You feel that way as well, Kira? Even being a little bit older than Nia?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely, because a lot of the up and coming generation, like that's what they're all about, image.
Yeah,
and it's ridiculous because I mean, I don't look my age as it is. So,
No, yeah.
it's not helpful.
I was listening to you both earlier when Carol was speaking to you about relationships, and you both echoed this as young Black women growing up in this world where you felt that, and this might be a little bit bittersweet, but I'm going to have to say it. We have to say it because this is reality, and this is a topic that needs to be discussed in our community, and especially to hear from our young women how they feel that, Black men of your age do not necessarily find Black women attractive. Am I right to say this is what you were talking about earlier?
Mm-hmm.
And tell us a little bit about that. I'm going to start with Kiara, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us a little bit about those experiences and how does that make you feel? Because I remember when I was at school in the 80s, I had the same. I grew up in East London. I went to school in a place called Plaistow, very close to West Ham Football Ground, which was considerably racist. It's where the NF was close to Canning Town, and the National Front, is what we called them back in the day, was quite, they were concentrated in that area. So we grew up in a really, really strange time around skinhead culture in East London. And then I had the same issue at school where the Black men or Black boys in our school said they didn't find Black women beautiful, that we were ugly, and that they were more attracted to white women. And it's quite, I felt quite shocked to hear that generations on, my daughter, and I'm going to call you my daughter as well, because you're all our children. It says that our culture says it takes a village to raise a child.
Definitely.
So this is the responsibility we're adopting. But for me to hear that this is happening with my children, I think it's quite shocking. And I just wanted to get your commentary on this, starting with Kiara. Like, how does that feel? As a beautiful woman with such great minds, and what's playing on the minds of our warriors, our young men to feel this way? And these men are coming from Black mothers and Black women, and Black women being the head of the household. So where is this discrepancy and this lack of self appreciation coming from?
Well, it's definitely taught. I'll definitely say it's taught. But
when you say taught,
unconsciously,
okay,
it's unconsciously taught, because not a lot of Black women have love for themselves. So if you're raising a son and you don't even love yourself, that child is constantly exposed to the fact that you don't love yourself, and he don't love you because you don't love you.
So his first example of a Black woman is of you, and if you're not loving
It's like a
yourself,
flag.
that's reflected onto your child. Interesting. I like that.
That's powerful.
That's very powerful.
Very, very powerful.
Really? What do you think? This whole what you all face with Black men of your age, not being available to Black women, or not finding Black women attractive, or not wanting to be with yourselves. They think other women.
Well, don't get me wrong. It's not like every single Black man. It's not like that.
Yeah.
But I just find, as like time goes on and whatever, people tend to they want to sway outside of their race. They don't think it's they like to say, it's preference, but I don't really buy it.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think they want to sway outside? And I said
because
earlier,
it's appealing. It's what beauty standards are always being pushed. Or
Because of media.
I don't even want to say like the ideal look to have now is a very European face, i.e. like white skin, blonde hair. It's not even about that anymore. It's lighter skin, curly hair, colored eyes. So then people now, it's more light skinned girls or mixed race girls or Latino girls or whatever they want to call it. Voluptuous, yeah.
That's what it's called.
voluptuous, or
Yeah.
voluptuous.
Thick.
Thick. Like thick from. So Kiara said something quite profound, that this came from felt lack of self-love within the Black family, which unfortunately, we said this last week, is the household's being headed by the woman. So there is an absence of the black male. And so the black woman probably also not having a black male in her life feels alone, perhaps.
Yeah.
And therefore maybe blames herself for the life she's living. And that's reflected onto the boy or the girl. And then there's this discrepancy in our community, which keeps going around in circles. I'm not a psychologist, I don't know how to read this. I can only speak of it from the reality that we've lived it, as these young women are expressing. So you think it's sort of a deep-rooted family issue, and you think it's got a lot to do with the standards of beauty and what the media perpetuates.
Yeah,
and maybe a combination of both.
I think it's a combination of both because
And schools.
Yeah, schools, what they teach us about history. Like if they were to teach us, what black people have actually done instead of just teaching us that we were slaves and this and that.
Yeah,
then
we're always suffering.
Always given a position of suffering.
Yeah.
Whereby the white people represent wealth and
money
and less of stress.
Yeah.
And that's not true.
Yeah.
But it goes to the masses.
Yeah, but we only know because majority of black people, they sit down and they do their own research because we're not taught this in school. That's how I've got here, surviving.
By doing
my own research.
Having
I've never relied on what I was taught at school.
Yeah. It's I think as you can hear, you guys now talking about these subjects, how do you feel? Is it something that you feel like you could do? You feeling comfortable to share? Or do you feel some of the conversations are a little bit harder on you? Just to find out where you are actually while we continue sharing. How do you feel expressing your thoughts and feelings about these subjects? Because they are very intense subjects. How do you feel?
I think I know that I have my own opinion and I have no problem sharing my opinion.
I love that.
But I try not to be one ignorant or just judgmental and ignorant.
Yeah.
And I like to try and think about everyone's point of view when I come to my own decision and how I approach things because I haven't seen the world, even I haven't seen a lot of things.
Yeah.
I may think I know a lot and I believe I am well educated and I have quite good general knowledge about things.
Yeah.
But I would love to
You've traveled a bit.
Yeah, I would love to discover more and see more of what people think.
Right.
More about what people think.
I love that. Now, in terms of you, because we decided also to bring you into It Takes a Woman, we're going to be discussing further. Now, there's another thing that I see for us as Black women, that we do not gather together and support each other, especially, as you say, finances and people. I find that in our community, this is a story. We like to talk about spirituality, and we're very good at that. We like to talk about problems and all that. But there's also financial, which is the economy. And I say to people, that also plays a very, very big part in our lives, especially in terms of we getting protected and knowing where we go forward. What do you think? What do you think of that side? As your mom taught you that, is that my one?
No, it's my one. No, it's
Sorry.
just don't worry.
No, it's not. Yeah. So what do you think? What do you think in terms of moving forward, especially for you, having to be a young mother who has this amazing, beautiful kids, for you to move forward freely? Do you see the light? How does that channel look like for you in terms of bringing those kids profoundly rooted with no fear? And how does that feel? Do you feel like you've got support? Because you see, this is for me. It's about that being. When we say it takes a woman in all areas of what creates balance in society. Where are you at in terms of protection and support?
I think I could, support-wise, I could definitely do with more support, but I'm getting there, and I think if I focus on the facts, then I have to bring it back to the Most High, because the end of the day. When you know in your heart what it is that you're gonna do, a path will always be paved, and the right people will be brought to you, and so the support will be there. So,
but is it there?
Yeah.
How, as you wake up in the morning, do you feel like there's hands left and right that are waiting to put you up there in terms of you moving forward to bring your kids?
Yeah.
You feel that?
Yeah, it's there. But I had to open my eyes first.
You have to open your
Yeah.
eyes to see it.
I like Kiara's story. When we give her the platform, one of the things we want to do is support Kiara, who's an absolutely amazing person who, at a very young age, has an amazing, huge story to tell. And we hope that she'll be comfortable to share a little bit about herself and how she's grown as an individual by believing in a higher power, and also what she's been through in her own life in a very short space of time. But what I like about what you've just said, and I think is really profound as a young woman, to actually acknowledge, I don't like to use the word God, but to acknowledge the Most High. That is so powerful at your age, because at 25, I rejected every notion that there was a being higher than myself, because I couldn't understand the suffering in the world. I couldn't understand why our people were so rejected and hated. I just couldn't understand it. And my mother always used to say to me when I asked her the question, Mum, why are Black people so hated? I'm a little girl. I came here from Jamaica at the age of 6, and I was suddenly sort of faced with this rejection from certain communities, and I couldn't understand it, and it weighed on me for a very, very long time. And my mum used to say, oh, well, the stone that the builder refused will be the head cornerstone. I never understood what she meant for a very, very long time. I now understand what she means by that. It was very profound. But for you to have a concept of the Most High Elohim at this age, I think it's really, really amazing. And I think, you will go a long way to sharing that belief with your peers to understand that. And I think you've seen such shift in your life that you know there's got to be a greater power, and you've seen that working in your life. And I love this, because we are spiritual beings. What it says is that it sounds so cliche, having this kind of on the earth experience, but there's something quite unique about us as a people. And I'm not going to make any bones about saying that Black people, African people, we are very spiritual people. And part of our dilemma that we face socially, economically, spiritually fragmented, we're spiritually fragmented. Some of the issues that we face is down to our spirituality, to be fair. And I'm going to leave it there. I'm not going to sort of expand on that at the moment, but our spirituality, when we find our core spiritual self and our core spirituality, and this is a really big word, because in the hierarchy of spirits, there are different levels. So a lot of people say, oh, I'm spiritual. But what does that actually mean, being spiritual? I mean, which spirit are you connecting to? I'll leave that there. But we have to understand that we are a special people, and we've gone through a very special journey. And we've got to start looking to ourselves and our Creator to find out and understand what that journey has been. We've been looking outside, blaming everyone, blaming every society. But actually the issue lied with when I say ourself, we're an extension of our ancestors, but the issue actually lied with our ancestors.
So, as you hear, you guys, there's such beautiful power as we're speaking here. Each individual has so much to teach. And what I find also so amazing, coming from 1971, sitting with young sisters who came 1980 something and 1990. Can you imagine?
2000, 1993.
That you guys, you are more peaceful than we, our generation. I feel that, and sitting here with you guys, I feel that we actually have better future coming our way, because you see things different, you sound different, your demeanor is different. even though you acknowledge all these things that are happening around us and around you guys, I say to your mom, the problem with the Black community is that we are decoded. We have lost our code. The Chinese. There was a time when I was young when they used to say that the Chinese it's the most poorest country in the world, and we looked at Chinese as okay, the Chinese. But today, the Chinese are the controller of the world, and they are planning to do so even more now because of their together. And I say, looking at you guys, which I know what you're going through as a young woman, I know because of I've seen you, but you make me feel like you're going through nothing. Actually, it's like you're not experiencing any problems whatsoever. And I'm thinking to myself, are we aware, women our age, actually, that we are busy with our stories, but the new generation
have stories
are
too.
actually having a story of kind of bringing us back to our code? I think
we're very detached from their
reality of
stories, and in truth, we should be very connected to their stories, and that's what we should be. We need to be parenting this next generation. That's what the role of the woman was in our societies, is that we would show the young women how to take their role as women in the society. But we're quite disconnected from that generation.
It's incredible. And I want to say to you guys, I feel honored and I feel humbled because the subjects I hear all the time, which really works on my nerves. Sometimes it's we women of our age complaining. We complain from here to Tokyo.
Yeah.
We complain from here to Tokyo. And we're not realizing that we are not in the 60s and 70s no more. There are new generations who are realizing, even the way you speak about the brothers, that they don't see you, they see these other girls, and you put it into media, but you're not angry with them. There's no.
It's gone past a point of anger. I'm just like, it is what it is. I've felt like this used to be something I'm still passionate about it, but I feel as though it's gonna take more than just speaking. It's a serious shift, a serious change. Something has to change. And I don't know what, I can't really say what it is, but something across the board has to change.
I share something there with you guys, and I'm going to bring it on board. And you know why I'm going to bring it on board? Because maybe you're going to learn something as well. Why people do what they do. Now, I told you that earlier that the fact that I don't know my mom and I don't know my dad, and growing up in a space where I needed to belong. Remember, every one of us needs to belong. That's why I say to people, never blame someone who's doing something bad because we don't know what had put them there. Because everybody needs to belong. And sometimes when we feel like we don't belong, we get lost.
Yeah.
And we get lost. And as lost as you get, suddenly somebody picks you up. And when they pick you up, you kind of stop and look around. So in terms of mixed race, I've been married to a white man. And I met William when I was 29, going to 30. Now, when I met William, I was this Black South African sister having businesses there, and they're picking up my money from one place to another. But in terms of family structure, I just didn't have it. And I didn't know it because I grew up from foster's home. And when I went to my Black brothers, they didn't understand me because I was tinted. And as tinted as I was also very, very powerful to my words. You wouldn't make me to do what you want me to do unless if I felt comfortable with it. So now, what I did then, I went out there in the world. And there was a point where I thought to myself, okay, Carol, it's time for you to settle down. It's time for you to marry. I remember vividly. And this white boy had been into my shop. And then I didn't think that I would marry a white man, because a white man for me was somebody very, very far. And then suddenly I started saying to my friends, I want to get married. I think I'm ready. And William keep on phoning me on the side, and I say, brother, this I don't do. Go somewhere else. Me, I'm for the black brothers. And so the white man didn't go. 8 months later, I was sitting there, and really this thing was, and I said to my friend, I really would like to settle. And William came, and my friend said, what about this man? I thought, again, it's this white boy. and 3 years later, I was married to him. Now, when I got married to William, suddenly the white race disappeared. He became my best friend. He became somebody who knew me. He became a person who went in and realized that I was this butterfly that was flying alone on the world with no one to catch. And he catch me, and he looked at me in my eyes and said to me, you know what? From now on, you're never going to be alone. Wherever I am in the world, you need me, I'll be here. 18 years later, that man, he's still there. And I said, so sometimes people don't go to a race because of they hate their people. Sometimes it's because of you find yourself alone in this big wide world, and somebody from anywhere comes
And picks you up.
you up. And when they pick you up, you then realize that, you know what? We are all humans after all. So it needs two eyes to see, because I think every story has a story behind a story. So this is my experience as a woman. So sometimes when mixed relationships come, like what I love what you said, and you sounded like your mom, and I thought, that's Carol's daughter. You said, even though they don't see me, my family, it's a black man.
Yeah.
And for them, I would like you to say, why did you say that? Because it came from so deep. Why? Where does that come from? For them to feel how much you adore them, how much nothing will change your view.
I just think black people are great, to be honest. As simple as it is, I feel as though the things we've gone through historically, down to this day, the things that black people have created, things that black people have to go through, is special. It's very special, and only another black person will understand that, and there's no other connection I feel that can be as great as that. It's not possible in my eyes.
I love that. And even the way you say it, your spirit, your demeanor, really I honor that. And for you, what do you think of this subject?
I agree.
And your dad is mixed race.
Oh yeah.
No, but I just needed to say, and it's this. I don't know. I'm proud of you, Nia, because you echoed so much of what's in me, and we don't share. I mean, we come from a very powerful, strong family with these beliefs, but it's the love that I have for my community, for my people. It's so deep, and no matter how much, I've never dated outside my race. But if I'm going to talk about love and how I've been hurt in love, it's been black men. Or they might say, well, she's hurt me, but if I've experienced a broken heart in love, it's been from black men, because I've been married to black men. I've only ever dated black men. But they can't do enough to hurt me where I would turn away, because I love my people so much. There's just something, we are special, and I cannot deny that. I cannot overlook, this is me personally, the struggles that we've been through, the brokenness that we have experienced. I particularly have the most sympathy for our brothers who are not necessarily so-called educated. Because what is education? You don't necessarily need to have sat in the universities of the West to be considered educated. And some of the most successful, rounded men that I know have had what you call, when you ask them where were you educated, they'll say in the school of hard knocks. Or I have a friend, he says, I learned the hard way. And these are some of the most profound, beautiful souls. So I admire. I mean, I think Nia said it quite rightly, that this connection with my people, it's just it's electric. Is that the word? It's almost like electric. I can't explain it. So I'm proud of you to acknowledge this at such a young age. And you live in a multiracial society where everybody's mixed up nowadays, and to maintain that beautiful beauty. And it's not racism. It's nothing. It's not rejecting somebody else. It's understanding and loving the value in yourself. And for me, self
That's
is
because
those
we haven't had that
looks
love
like
as
you.
well.
Sorry?
That's what I'm saying. You have black people, I could say, the only race that was taught to hate themselves.
Yeah.
Therefore, this is why it's important for you to see that you don't need to look elsewhere. And it's not, some people, like I said, they want to say preference, this and that, but it's not. It really isn't.
Yeah.
It really isn't. It stems from somewhere else, because the reasoning, when you hear the reasoning behind it, it's not valid.
It's like a karmatic curse, I think.
That we are going through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because our ancestors were
I know you say this because you've got a little bit of understanding. I've picked that up from what I know, but it is some type of a karmatic scenario that's upon us, while we see things from a different perspective where ourselves is concerned.
Now, for you, how does that feel then, a black man and a white man, as you came from both? Do you also see it as you would rather more be into the black community, or?
Yeah, I definitely prefer my black community, because I've never been accepted by the white community anyway. So my dad's mixed race. I've got a white man, white aunties, white uncles. I don't know man.
You don't know them.
I don't know them.
They never introduced themselves to you. I hear you.
Well, it wasn't their fault. It was more my dad's fault. But still, for me, it was kind of like. And I'm guessing he done that because he went through his own experience with his mum.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So, but no, I love my black community. Either way.
Yeah. So what about human race? Do we see that? Do we see that we are all the same, and maybe because of territorial, that has suddenly separated human beings? That's why the white man has done what he did, because of territorial. Are we somewhere somehow similar, or we are really, really different race?
When you say we're all the same, what do you mean?
Human beings. Because
we're all humans.
Yes. Yeah. We've got Chinese, we've got Indians, we've got whites, and we've got. How does that race comes and put us together as humankind? Because I think we human beings first, before pigmentation comes in. How does that?
I'm going to say something here.
Yeah. I think it's deeper than pigmentation.
Right.
Like, that's what I was trying to say before. I think there's actually a collective way that certain races think, the way they act, the way they just are. I do believe there's a difference. However, saying that, the human race, that's the human race. I have friends of so many different races, skin colors, whatever, and I will never look at them in a different way. I connect with the person, and if I love you, that's because I love you for who you are. It's not about what you look like or anything. But I think people need to also understand that we are the same, but we're not all the same. We don't have the same thought processes as everyone else.
And I find this very much, as a black race, we're very sympathetic for other people and not ourselves. I find this, we always advocate, but we are all human beings, and we always advocate for everybody else, but nobody advocates for us. And I think that's our biggest issue, is that the amount of energy that we give to welcoming everyone, we need to start welcoming ourselves. And I see that with us. I think I see nothing wrong with me saying that I will not date outside my race, or I don't even like the term race, but I prefer black men. That is not racist. That is my truth. Yeah. I work with everyone, and I love everyone, but my preference and who I connect with is a black man from a love perspective. And I don't feel ashamed, and I don't think we should be judged by that. But I find that we as a people tend to make excuses for everyone. And really, there is nothing wrong with us saying collectively we want to do something for ourselves. We need to fix the problem in our communities for ourselves. And I don't think we should make an apology for that and try to make excuses for everybody else. We are in a serious situation, economically, socially, spiritually. Our communities are in a serious situation, and we need to take responsibility of that unashamedly for ourselves.
Yeah, I think it would be lovely to have them brothers next time, because it seems we'll find the brothers. I think
we know a lot of brothers, but will they talk?
Definitely, because I think the subject, it's such an interesting subject. Because if you hear it, is that the sisters are there willing, and they are on their knees bowing for the brothers. But where are the brothers? Where are they? Where is the responsibility of taking the queens in their hands and saying, "Queens, you have been waiting for us. Here we are. Here's our hands." And I think this will be the subject for the next time, to involve the brothers and ask questions, and deeply, because of, as I said, it comes from growing up as a little girl, not seeing the mother and the father together. And often, especially in South Africa, I don't know here, is that 75% of women are the one who raise their kids, and the man just brings a baby, and then suddenly they're gone. And the question is that it's what brings this disappointment around a woman. That's why I think some women even go outside, because there's no sense of protection. So I think we can talk about it, but the brothers has to be involved so that they can be able to answer. Yes, definitely. And I think I want to say thank you. We wanted to go deeper, we wanted to go deeper, but I don't know if it's something that you would like to talk maybe later, because of
probably later. I think I'd rather go deeper once we're at the event.
Definitely.
And then once the event's done, then I can share it more.
Definitely. Yeah. Because as I said, for me, as a young woman who came in this world, it's that my dilemma has been the fact of not knowing both of our parents' stability, and that has been. Thank you so much. And once again, powerhouse. And I think you need to talk further. You need to talk more. And you can still see it, isn't it? That you really want to go into the United Nations and just break the walls of United Nations, isn't it so?
There you go. I'm telling you, you can speak for the UN.
You need to go to the United Nations.
Both of you have got that story.
You definitely do.
I can prepare the speech.
Definitely. No, both of you, you're very powerful. And thank you so much for sharing yourselves, and for us to have. So you have some words too.
I just want to say thank you for this is a very homely environment. Look, our lighting wasn't working, so we've got our mobile phones with a torch switched on so we could light this environment. Mine will go forever. See, you should have a BlackBerry. They just go on forever. Where is it? So it's quite organic. It's not formal. We let the conversation flow. We hope you find it interesting, and do look out for It Takes a Woman. Oh, I'm supposed to say, but you hate it when I say that. You say it. Subscribe to the channel, because it's so cliche, it's so social media, but we have to say it. But look out for It Takes a Woman.
Love if you say it.
Happening on the 24th of February 2019. Watch this space. It Takes a Woman. Yes, you say that thing.
And before you say it, please, we're looking to have brothers on board with us so that we can go deep into the story. As you can hear, them sisters are there and loving you brothers and the disappointments that they keep getting. Let's get to the core why this is, and thank you so much. And sisters, you can close there.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, guys.
I like that. I can never say that.
And we thank you for watching, and we know that you're going to be watching. Of course, we're going to be sharing like I have done last week once again. It's going to go all over the place.
She sends it all over the world.
I send it everywhere. And bye-bye. And mwah, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And we are looking forward to hear from you guys. God bless. Good love. Kiddo, so there we go. Please do it. Bye-bye.
Oh, we are.
Oh, yes,
We are.
yes, yes, yes.